So a few days ago, I was shopping in the stationery section at the store and I came across this 1 month or 31-day planner, and I got a brilliant idea to create a 1 month study challenge for myself. Now, I personally struggle a lot with being consistent as a language learner because I tend to get these bouts of energy where I think, oh, I'm gonna do all of this. And the reality is, with the time that I have, I can actually only do like this much. So for this 1 month challenge, my goal is to be consistent and stick to the plan that I set for myself. I'm also going to be looking at how realistic my goals are. Kind of the second thing I'm hoping to gain from this challenge is how to create better goals. So now that you guys know why I'm doing this challenge, I thought that I would show you the kind of goals that I'm setting for myself in Korean and Japanese, and then how I turn these goals into a 5-week challenge for myself, as well as how I'm going to incorporate ways to measure my goals and measure how realistic these goals are to help myself with setting goals in the future. So let's take a look at this notebook together.
So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to list off all of my goals for Korean as well as Japanese. So for Korean, I'm going to be doing weekly italki lessons. Then with my Yonsei Reading 4 textbook, I want to cover a total of 5 chapters. And I would like to write in my Korean journal at least 2 times a week. Then with my Japanese, I'm also going to be doing weekly italki lessons. And I would like to do some self-study from my Genki textbook series from lessons 4 to 6 with a bit of review. Now I'm just going to take these goals here and break them down into smaller weekly goals here. So for example, week 1, I'm going to be doing a Korean italki lesson, Yonsei Reading Chapter 1, Korean journal twice a week, and Genki Chapter 4. And over here, I'm also going to include my Japanese italki lesson. Now I'm just going to take another moment to quickly fill out the rest of my weeks. And here are my weekly goals for this challenge. Then on the next page, I'm going to list out all of my Korean and Japanese italki lessons that I plan to take during this challenge. Then I'm just going to skip over these numbers at the top of the page, and I'm just going to write in the content that I'm learning and the homework that's due for that day next to each lesson here. Now, if I turn the page, I have like several pages of these 31-day trackers. So I'm going to use one for Korean and one for Japanese. Then I'm going to use this pink and green highlighter so that I can mark off each day. Whereas green is going to be an easy, straightforward day, and pink is going to mean that there were some challenges and it was hard to get it done. Then I'm going to keep track of how feasible or realistic my daily goals felt. This is going to be really useful later when it comes time to reevaluate my expectations. I also want to track my sleep and energy levels just because I'm curious what kind of impact that has on my studies. Now finally, when it comes to the daily pages, where it says today's point, I'm just going to write the key goals for that day in order to stay on track with my challenge. So what I did was I essentially looked at my weekly goals and I kind of wrote out what I'm going to be doing each day of the week for both Korean and Japanese like this. So I can just plug this into my daily today's point.
So each day, what I'm going to do is I will look at today's point and see what I need to get done that day in order to stay on track for this challenge. Then I'm also going to keep track of the times that I'm starting and stopping my studies and recording that on the side panel as well, so that when I go back and look at my challenge results, I can see how much it actually took to complete a task. Then in my 31-day tracker, I'm going to check off if I studied Korean that day and if I studied Japanese that day. Granted, at least one day every week I will not be studying anything, so there will be some days where I don't check off any Korean or any Japanese, and that's okay. I really need a break, okay? Like, I can't study every day and be okay. I'm also going to rely on the colors pink or green to showcase, whether I felt good or bad about the study session. So essentially, as I'm going through my challenge, I'm just recording what I did, the time it took for me to get it done, and then I'm giving it an evaluation of like good or bad. And I'm essentially collecting all of this data so that when I finish the challenge, I can go back and reflect on, did I hit my 5-week goals? And if not, why? Because if you look at things very simply and say, I completed my goals or I did not complete my goals, the trap that I feel like I could sometimes fall into, and I'm sure so many of you fall into as well, is when you see that you have not completed your goals, you might analyze it and think, I failed. Like, I set these goals, I did not achieve them, so I failed. And that's kind of a negative way to look at things. Rather than saying I didn't hit my goals, I failed the challenge, this way, with all this pretty data that I've collected, I will be able to pinpoint why I could not achieve my goal. Did I plan things that took up way too much time, like more time than is realistic to expect for myself? Because I can change that. Was it because I wasn't sleeping regularly enough, and then because I was tired, I wasn't able to show up? And then once I understand why I couldn't achieve my goals, I can use that information and set more realistic goals next time. If you are setting goals yourselves as language learners and you are constantly coming up short of your goals, I guarantee you it probably has to do with your ability to set realistic goals. And the only way to improve at that is to set goals and measure them. If you struggle with being consistent and setting obtainable goals for yourself as a language learner, I highly encourage you to try out this 5-week challenge with me and see why you're not able to obtain your goals, because I guarantee you, you will learn something incredibly new about yourself. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!